All right,
Well,
I'm gonna log in on YouTube and LinkedIn and do my thing over there. Not sure if there's anybody in the comments, but yeah, looks like we've got people joining. So hey, everybody, if you don't mind, just say hello in the chats. Give us name and location, company name, fun facts, projects you're working on, your favorite sensor. Should we play that game maybe? Should we play like on
it's
these
not fair.
webinars? Like,
It's not fair because
why
I
not?
feel like if I ask you your favorite sensor, you're just gonna pop one out from like right under your desk and be like, "This is my favorite."
You don't have sensors under your desk that are your favorite? Is that weird? Is that a weird thing?
You're hoarding them
Um,
probably over there.
I don't have a favorite sensor. I love all sensors equally. All right, more people joining.
Yeah, give us
Trying
just
to
a
get to
moment. We're
live
gonna get
stream.
started, everybody. We're just waiting, another minute or two to give everybody an opportunity to join here.
And are we live on LinkedIn as well? I see I see YouTube. Oh yeah, here we go. We've got LinkedIn.
And before we get started, everyone, as we go through this and kind of rip through what myDevices offers, feel free to drop questions in the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer it either live or post. But for now, we'd love to hear where you're calling in from. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and if you are in Atlanta, it was ice on the ground this morning, which is very unusual, so it's cold. Cam is actually in California as well, so we'd love to hear what parts of the world we're reaching today.
Looks like John is his favorite sensor is water leak. That's one of my favorite too because it saves millions of dollars. Like I said, it's one of the ones that like directly we've seen like direct relation to just like massive savings or incidents occurring or even like mass deployments after the fact just because of oh crap, don't want that to happen again. So hindsight basically. So and then it looks like Tom McGuire. Good to hear from you again, Tom. San Diego, nice. Yeah, I'm in Santa Clarita, just outside Los Angeles, and it's nice and warm here too. Although I've been like wanting it to cool off. It's so funny because when you're in these like this California, you get so spoiled with weather all the time, but then it gets like a little too hot in summer, and you want it to cool off. The rest of the world is complaining about how cold it is, and I'm like, I wish it would just be a little cooler here. So it's always a fun time. Yeah, Tom knows what I'm talking about.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I know it's hard to complain, right? It's too hot and it's middle of winter, or like I remember one year on Christmas, it was like 73 or 74 degrees, and we're all bummed out because we're like, it doesn't feel like Christmas, but like, okay, but we can like go to the beach on Christmas or go on a walk outside, that sort of thing. So
Must be nice.
I know I'm bragging. So okay, well, it's 10:02. We can go ahead and get started. I'm going to keep manning the chats here and on LinkedIn and on YouTube, so I'll be kind of in and out of the screen and everything. But yeah, I guess for today, Alex, I guess just take it over. What do you have planned for us? Something fun?
Yes. And also, once again, if you're just joining us now, we're going to go through, a little bit of what myDevices offers. If you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Go ahead and drop any information about any projects you guys are working on. We'd love to hear a little bit more about that. And then that'll really help us to customize this conversation. Quick introduction to myself. My name is Alex Martinez. I'm an account executive here at myDevices. And I came to myDevices through the wireless space. And my first experience with IoT was seeing what a temperature sensor could do at a Chick-fil-A deployment. And so I was really interested in learning more, and I realized that there are so many endless possibilities in IoT. And you took, there, I can still share. Perfect. Cam's sharing his screen right now so you can see this online sensor library.
I'm just trying to throw you off. That's all.
Yeah, you definitely did, but that's okay. That's all right. Because that's what I'm going to show you next. But that was the actual sensor. There we go. So our Dragino temperature sensor, which is actually one of our most popular kind of tried and true proven sensors that we have here, great price point as well. And so as far as an introduction to Cam, since he didn't give one, Cam is our VP of sales here at myDevices, and he's one of the founding members. If you've seen our videos, you've seen his celebrity career talking about our sensors constantly.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Oh gosh. Some celebrity career, yeah.
But yes, so what I will do is just give you a peek into where we fit into the IoT space. I'm going to go ahead and steal your screen. Is that all right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just playing at this point. So
Perfect. Let's see. There we go. Can you see me, Cam?
I
Yeah.
gotcha. Yep.
Perfect, perfect. So just to give you a little bit of background, if you're not familiar with our company, we were founded in 2013 and we launched our platform in 2015. We started very early on in the infancies of IoT. Our primary investor and our cornerstone relationship in our company is with a company called Semtech, and they created the LoRa technology that most IoT products are utilizing today. We're headquartered out of Burbank, California, where Cameron is, but we are now global. As I said, I'm in Atlanta, and we have an additional office and warehouse in Paris. We're working in countries like Australia, South Africa. So really anywhere that IoT is going, we're following and we're assisting with deployments, and we're offering services everywhere. And really for our overlooking our business model, it's a complete end-to-end IoT platform that we've built out. And the way that we do this is by unblocking IoT. When we approached IoT, we realized that there was this huge barrier to entry. And I'm sure, if you're watching this video, you might have kind of hit that wall too. And what I mean by that is all those different things that are required to make a deployment successful. So you have web and mobile applications or device management, integrations and ordering hardware from hundreds of different vendors, and now different APIs that you'd have to manage on every single sensor in order to integrate those devices into a platform. So we bundle that into a single offering and enablement for faster time to market, reduce cost, and reduce risk. And so the first way we do that is we've got our online store, where we've got close to about 1,500 sensors on this store from over 300 different manufacturers. And we've aggregated these all into one single place, which is great because now you can mix and match all these sensors and you don't have to have different POs out with different companies, maybe starting with Trevino to get a temperature sensor, doing all the configuring, provisioning, and then starting that whole process again, opening a new PO with digital matter if you needed a GPS tracker. You come to us and we become a single source of hardware acquisition for you so that you can immediately start scanning the QR codes on these sensors and start visualizing data. And essentially, because we have all these great relationships, we're really able to accommodate most use cases. I would say 99% of what I see daily, we have a sensor for, and we can always facilitate the relationships. If it's something that you're looking for that you don't see in this online catalog, we can also reach out to one of our manufacturers and see what they've got available. So essentially, we become the one vendor to get your hardware, your software, your help with installation, and we enable you immediately, and we're giving you all the pieces so that you can go to market and start deploying and selling, sensors as a service immediately. And what has allowed us to do that is offering streamlined IoT enablement for companies like yours, where we provide software, hardware, integrations, and then additional support and value-added services so that you can easily deploy. So all these sensors that we have here come plug and play ready to speak back to an application that we provide for you. And just to show you how easily it is, if you needed to add a device into our realm, you just go ahead and scan the QR code on the back of any of our sensors. You're going to go ahead and name your device, and now immediately it's going to drop into this list view here. And so you white label this application and product as yours as you bring it to your clients. So your logo would appear here, would be all in your own colors, on your own domain. And then you've got things like different dashboards that you can visualize the data. So you can click in on your map views and see what sensors are operating at a location. You can look at things like asset tracking or even occupancy levels, predictive maintenance, which seems to be a daily request, and it is often in every industry I see coming across at this point, or even electric sub-metering. And then you've got additional tools like alerts, or you can even utilize reporting in this application if you wanted to send your weekly, your monthly, your annual reports to get sent out, or reporting through Power BI integrations. We can even look at custom sensor maps. So if you wanted to see your sensors live across a location, we utilize this tool that we built in here so that you can see sensors as they're moving live. And this is something I see a lot with a lot of our clients who are using the panic buttons, or maybe even asset tracking over a facility on construction sites, hospitals. And then another feature that we use, and Cam, sorry here, I've got to move the Zoom. I'm not sure if you see all the Zoom tabs, but I had to move them over. But another kind of highly requested thing is, because we're offering these mix and match sensors, our clients want to see more than one use case over a dashboard. So what we built was this custom dashboard tool where you can go into the application and you can drag and drop data and essentially create your own dashboards. And so now you've got your own custom dashboard here, and now you can go ahead and send that out. And then there's additional tools in the application like multi-tenancy. So if you wanted certain views and permissions based on company hierarchies or management levels. That's all built into this application so that it's a completely customizable tool. And that's, I would say, it's just one of the ways that you can really go to market. Another way is once you've got these sensors up and running, you may want that data to go into a work ticketing system or a building management system. And so you can do that in the app using the integrations capabilities. We've got integrations into any third-party app or platform like Azure, Google Cloud, or even custom integrations through REST APIs and webhooks. The key part about our integrations is that we're a single integration that makes any app or platform compatible with thousands of sensors. So instead of integrating every sensor individually with a platform, you integrate with the myDevices set of APIs, and now that platform is instantly compatible with thousands of devices. So we're providing you with this app so that you can visualize the data, but at the end of the day, it's our APIs into your system where this data is going to eventually end up, and we do that all through custom webhooks, REST APIs, that there's multiple ways to integrate the data where you need to get it to go on your side and enable this inside of your own application. So, maybe just to give you a quick example, I'll show you some of the companies that we're working with and partnering with on things like this. This is a company called Safety Culture. They're based in Australia, and some of you might be familiar with them because I speak to clients quite a bit, and they tell me that they're working with them on other projects. But they have a concept of inspection checklist, and so they had customers who were looking to deploy sensors to automate their inspection checklist. And so now at this point, they're offering automated monitoring sensors and devices. And so we empower this entire strategy for them. Their customers can go into the iAuditor app and they can purchase sensors from iAuditor. And now it's fulfilled, shipped, configured, and everything's going from us directly to their customer, but they're still going to scan in those sensors and QR codes into the iAuditor app, and it's instantly going to connect and populate data to that inspection checklist. And then we've got another company we work with, Aramark, which is a huge company with a major global presence. And they were looking into smart restrooms. So their goal was to look into people counting so that they could optimize their maintenance request. So they would say, hey, let's see how many times a door has been open and closed. How long are people spending in these restrooms? Are we sending in people to clean every 2 hours when we really only need to be sending them in every 4 hours? But again, this entire app that they've developed is powered by our APIs underneath. And then we're doing the fulfillment. We're training their salespeople on how to prospect on these types of opportunities. We're bringing deployment specialists in who can assist, and not only teach them how to deploy, but then we have physical on hands that can go out and deploy for you as well. So providing that full circle process, and then pairing all those front end with our back end tools. So we provide you with a back end console, and this is just your administrative portal where you can manage your business, your customers, and your technology. You can do your device lookups, your integrations, track your order statuses or your firmware updates. All of that administrative work is done through our back end console. And then a large part of what we do is the storing and logistics. So we procure, we pack, and we ship the hardware to you or directly to your customers. We're managing the warranties and the RMAs, and we're really working with the manufacturers so that you're not dealing with all of that back and forth. And then the most important piece, I think, is the enablement. So we want to provide all the services and the training to make you successful as well. So it starts with a kickoff call with our team, and we start to understand what projects you have going on. We leverage our experience to consult on which sensors will be the best for your use case, because even Cam can tell you not all sensors are created equal, and they don't really, not every single one fits every particular use case. So we're providing that experience to help you pick the best hardware. We'll start putting it together solutions and custom dashboards, and we do all of that ahead of time to make sure that you're really in the best position to offer this to your customers and deploy within your own business. And then there are additional professional services. So do you need help with an installation, or do you need boots on the ground to physically go out and install the sensors? We've got technical support for whether it be hardware troubleshooting or systems integration and getting the data routed into your customers' platforms. So all that to say, we're assisting with the full circle of the hardware, providing the software, the connectivity in a private LoRa network server, and then additional services like I said, physically going out and installing sensors and providing that guidance, really everything that's needed to make your IoT business successful. So I know that's a lot of information, and I'm slightly running out of breath. So Kim, I want you to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think you missed anything. But at the end of the day, to kind of summarize that, it's really centralized around this concept that there's a lot of different tools that you need to acquire as a system integrator, as an IT service provider, as an enterprise company, like as you saw with Aramark or Sodexo, or any of the others that we're doing similar deployments with. So no matter which part of the spectrum you personally fall into, your company falls into, there are these different tools that you need to have successful IoT deployments. And And to date, each of these tools you would have to acquire from different parts of the ecosystem. You've got to go find the sensor. Your customer says, hey, we want to do leak detection. Okay, I've got to go find the right leak sensor. And you might spend a month to 2 months just trial and erroring that, just trying to find the right sensor. And then when you do acquire a sample of the sensor, let's say, it comes with these like instruction booklets, right? And then you're tasked with learning how to program it and provision it and make it work, because it's its own process to do that. And then you might have to pair it to a gateway, connect it to a LoRa server, or maybe connect it to a cellular network, and then get that data into some kind of application, right, where you can actually visualize and do something with it. And all of that takes, you know, a long period of time. And then you might find out that, oh, it's not the right sensor because it doesn't do this or it doesn't do that. You know, there's some specific requirements that you realize it needs to do now. And now you're starting that whole process over again. So what we've done is we've kind of become that backbone for businesses who just want to focus on problem solution, and we kind of run the gambit in the background to make sure that all of that happens. So you come to us and you say, hey, we've got an opportunity for leak detection. And we say, okay, here's the 3 different leak sensors that we have, the pros and cons of each. These work in these environments. This one works in these kinds of environments. I mean, I can tell you right off the bat, we've got drip pan leak sensors, or we've got probe leak sensors, or we've got plastic like saran wrap style leak sensors. They all have pros and cons, and they're used in different environments, depending on what type of leak you're trying to monitor. But that alone takes you 3 months. You know, you're now 3 months ahead of where you would have been without us just knowing, okay, those options. Okay. And then the next question, right? How often does it need to ping? What kind of leak detection are you know, do you want it to, how sensitive do you want that leak detection to be? Do you want it to, if the water's there for an hour, or if it touches it immediately, you know, how critical is it? And those are the types of things. And then you get further down that journey, and I think integrations becomes the most important piece, because at some point the data is going to get out of an IoT platform like what we have, and it's going to need to go to a work ticketing system. An engineer on site, a facilities manager on site, is not going to open up an IoT platform to tell him what to do for his day. He's going to open up his building management system. He's going to open up his Siemens BMS, whatever it is, his IBM Maximo powered tool. He's going to open his CMMS platform, and it's going to tell him, here's the tasks you have for today. Well, we can get sensor data into those apps very easily to create that list of tasks. An operations person doesn't want to go into an IoT platform to see, you know, of all of the, if we're doing location tracking, where are all of my trucks today and what are the temperatures in all the trucks? They're not going to want to go to an IoT platform to see all that. They're going to want to go into Tableau or Power BI and just see a report that says, here's all your trucks, here's the last known location, and here's the temperatures, right? So the way that that's being accomplished today is complicated, because you've got to integrate these sensors point to point, but we've got a single API that, when connected to that intelligence platform, you now can work backwards and say, okay, what sensor do you want? Because we've now got 1,100 that are compatible with your intelligence platform, because we've got the core API that gets it all there. And there's some other things in here like data transformation and everything that we can show. Like, for example, with a tank level sensor, there's a big difference between a tank level sensor monitoring levels of a horizontal tank versus a vertical tank. You calculate percentage differently. You calculate height differently, because there's some other variables in there. Well, within our application, you can set all those settings. You can say, is it vertical? Is it horizontal? How tall is it? Is it measured in height, or is it measured in volume, gallons or meters, right? And all of that, so that when the data comes in, it actually gives you like what you see here, which is what people want to see, 78% full. Okay, cool, walk away. They don't want to see 37 volts coming from the sensor, therefore 37 times this divided by that. Okay, so it's about a quarter full. You know, real the application, or to whatever where we're integrating it to, it will actually land in that application as clean, transformed data, as opposed to, you know, whatever you know, kind of jumbled data comes from the sensor out of the box. So we're really kind of cleaning that. And there was Alex, you and I were on yesterday, and we kind of ran through this exercise. I think I'm going to steal your screen really quick, if you don't mind. Can you just stop sharing? I just kind of want to show this live, because it was pretty cool when we did it. We kind of did it by accident. We were just talking yesterday about you know, some of the features of the app. So one of the things that's really cool that you can do within this application is simulated sensors. So this is actually a demo account that I have set up, and I've actually got just a ton of different sensors on here that are all simulated. So this is like an air quality sensor or a door sensor. And this is something that I don't think anybody in our industry is quite doing to this extent, where I can literally go on here and go add simulated device, and our library of 1100 sensors shows up in here. And I can, like, if it's a water meter, if it's a leak sensor, like we were just talking about trash bin sensor, right? So if I just like want to add a trash bin sensor, well, I can add it as a simulated device. And this is what I was saying is I can say, I want to measure it in volume and I want to know gallons, let's say. Okay, now it's going to say, well, is it a horizontal or vertical tank? Is it cylindrical or is it flat on the bottom? You know, is it coned on the bottom? What's the total capacity? Let's say 100 gallons, right? So all of this is very, very important. And we're doing it, we're allowing the sensor to just send whatever data it sends. We turn it on and it works, and we can manipulate it here as opposed to manipulating it and having to do firmware updates every time we need to tweak something on the device. But let's just go ahead and add this as a simulated sensor. And this will load and then eventually add. And now in this long list that I have, I've added another one. I believe it's, yeah, this one here, maybe it's this one, but either way, I could just click this purple button here and it will send an updated payload from that device. So 0 meters, 100%, or 2 meters, 81%. Now, it's what's really cool here, and to show the power of the integrations, is I now can go into this integrations section. And let's say I want to open a webhook. I can now insert any URL and feed that simulated data into the platform. So if your customer's got some platform, or you have some platform that you're using internally that you want to get sensor data into, you can literally validate that in about 30 seconds by just adding a simulated device and then opening up a webhook. So if I like, and this will be fun, this will be live, but Alex and I were just messing, I was giving her some information on this and I found this cool tool. Actually, yeah, this is from our tests from yesterday, but you know, I had my URL on here somewhere. I'm going to open this up in an incognito window so that I'm not, let's go here. All right, so, oh wow, it found it anyways. I'm trying to find the URL on here. Well, that's okay, it's already on the thing. So I've got an integration set up actually that we were messing with yesterday. I'll just copy the URL. So if I go to my integrations, I can actually see the two that I created yesterday. And I could just, so this is the endpoint URL for that webhook page. And if I go in and just create a new one, you guys can just see how easy it is. So I go to webhook, connect, paste that URL in there. The device that I want to do is actually going to be, oops, it's going to be that bin level sensor, waste bin. Okay, that's the URL, save. Okay, so now I've created a new integration. It's waiting for data. So now if I go back to that simulated section, and I don't know which one it is, so I'm just going to push the button a couple times on both of them to send a few readings. And that's simulating the sensor actually sending data to me. Now I go over here and you can see all the new readings that just came in, you know, just a few minutes ago. And the cool part about this is, and I'll show you what we have, like this is from the waste bin. You can actually see in the metadata here that this is, well, you can see the location based on what I set up, but you can see it's the DingTech waste bin sensor right here. But you can see all the data that's coming from that sensor. Some of it we're not even showing in the front end of the app. Like I have it hidden because I don't want to see a bunch of data in here. I only want to see what's important, which is the distance and the level. But the sensor's still sending things like its location or the angle that it's set up at and other things. So you get all that data, but you can now see 120 centimeters is what that thing is sending. And now if it's a completely different device, like some of the ones that we sent earlier, this is a current meter, you can see that it's 4.5 volts. So that's a completely different sensor from a completely different manufacturer, all feeding data out of a single webhook into the same place, but the data format's identical. And that's the truth. That's the case with the 1100 sensors that we have. So the simulated sensor allows you to just go in and add these things and quickly just validate that we can integrate data from our platform to yours for any of these different sensors and see what it looks like. In practical use case, you can add any of these sensors and have that exact same experience with real data. So hopefully that shows kind of how easy it is to set up. I mean, we've sent this documentation and license access to companies, largest companies in the world, and then smaller companies that are just trying to do quick integrations into their own IoT platform, and they get up and running within hours with real sensors. You can get simulated sensor up in seconds. But so that's how easy it is to integrate. And now all of a sudden that I've got that webhook set up, I can add 1100 sensors, mix and match, and all that data is going to flow into that platform immediately. So I thought that was cool. I kind of just did on accident with Alex yesterday, just kind of in an organic conversation. But yeah, I thought it would be cool to just share what that looks like, just to bring some life to what we mean when we say these things can integrate easily. Like it really is that easy. And similarly, in that demo app, I believe it's this one. Yeah, that's a webhook integration. Which I showed us one option, but you can, if you've got an S3 instance, you can just simply plug in your, I think there's just some like keys that are needed from this that you plug in, access key, secret, bucket name, all of that. And you could do that same experience into your S3 bucket. So a lot of times people we work with say, I already have a platform, I already have some app, or I'm using this app, or it needs to go to a building management system. And there's just so many ways that we make it easy to get that data in there. So anyways, just wanted to share that. Hopefully that was helpful, insightful to see. Are there any questions from anybody or any feedback or comments? I know there's a good group of you out there watching, so I'm just curious to hear what you would like to see more of. We've only got a few minutes left, but are there any questions or anything you guys like to see? Otherwise, Alex, I think you've got a last slide or two to share, so I'll stop sharing. But
No, I've got questions here actually. So it said, how do we go about ordering and what are the lead times?
Yeah, so well, ordering would be, so our business model is, we license out everything that we just talked about today. So you're going to get access to you get license to the software to be able to instantly visualize the data. You get access to our team for support. So we do weekly calls, we do project consulting. We talk about, you're going to tell us, hey, my customer needs to do X, Y, and Z. And we're going to say, here's the recommended sensors for that. Once we get through that, then there's a quote that goes out from us that will say, okay, here's the sensors we recommend and here's the cost. And then you'll purchase them directly from us, and then we ship them out and they'll work inside of your app. We deliver you a white labeled version of our app, your logo, your colors. It runs in your own realm and your own domain and everything. So you've got your own IoT app, and then you can open your own integrations and everything. Lead times vary. Every sensor is different. Some of them we can ship out same day. Some of them might take a few weeks, just depending on a bunch of different factors, because a lot of times we're not just shipping a sensor out, because you could do that anywhere. You can buy any sensor from anybody and they'll just ship it to you. But we're actually going to listen to what you're using it for and what purpose it serves. And then we're going to configure it to meet those specific requirements. So that could take a day, it could take a week, it could take a couple of weeks, just depending on the complexities of things. Once we do it once, we then templatize it and it goes a lot quicker from that point on. Or if it's a templated use case, like HVAC monitoring, a lot of times is, we've got it down to just a couple options because it's templatized. So long way to say it varies just depending on project, the use case, and everything. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
Nice. All right, another one here. Can I bring my own sensors?
Yeah, you absolutely can. So we've got a full on, just like we have the APIs going out, we've got APIs going in. So you can feed data to us cloud to cloud, MQTT, co-op, HTTP. There's tons of ways, and you can go to docs.mydevices.com and you can see the documentation on how to get data in and bring in your own device. That's no problem.
Perfect. And I see some questions about pricing. I know Cam briefly went into this. It's very much project-based, but I think it'll be helpful to show a little bit of our timeline and how we do this process with you. What we do is, once we meet and understand what projects you have going on, generally on a call we'll pick up right after, this one, and we'll start to move into this phase process once we send you out the proposal. So it starts with phase one, and that's where we meet for a kickoff call, and that's where your team comes in. They get to know our team. We bring in our implementation team. We bring in our sensor experts, our deployment specialists. Our CEO Kevin really likes to join on that call quite a bit. Sometimes Cameron pops in there too, and we begin to understand your goals. We start to really build your solution. We also deliver your white label at that point and start to conduct your trainings. Then we move into phase two, where we do a proof of concept with you, and we do the whole part together in this process, because we know there's going to have tweaks that need to be made. There's going to be back and forth questions. So we'll start a proof of concept either with you or maybe with one of your more friendly clients. We'll start to set up the sensors and validate their data, making sure it's looking good on your end. We'll set up things like alerts and build custom dashboards and add users and locations. And then we'll move into phase three, where now that we've done this whole proof of concept together and we know we have a perfect working solution, the next goal is how to scale it and how to grow it. So just to summarize this whole process, we're offering streamlined IoT enablement. So we're providing that software. And I know we showed you quite a bit of that, but software that you can white label and bring to your clients as your own. Integrations to get the data routed where you need it to go. Connectivity, and then hardware that is plug and play ready from over 300 different manufacturers, and then support from a team of sensor experts and deployment specialists. Everything that's fully needed to go to market and to be successful with this. So I think the next steps would be is we would love to hear a little bit more about the projects you guys have going on right now. I know it's so limited because when I look at my screen, I can only see Cam. So we'd like to see your faces and just hear a bit more about what you have going on, maybe make some sensor recommendations. So if you go to mydevices.com/Alex, you can book a time with us to continue the conversation. Like I said, we'd love to hear a little bit more from you and then cater the conversation a bit more to your use cases and to the projects that you all have going on. I think we're running a little close on time, Cam, but anything else I should add in there?
No, don't think so. Just would love to, like you said, get one-on-one calls set up to discuss projects and next steps. And if there's anybody out there that we can help, we'd love to talk about how we can help you. So mydevices.com/Alex, schedule a call, and we'll talk to you later, hopefully.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Everybody have a good day. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, Alex. Bye, everybody.